What's going on, everybody, man? This is the Humble and Blessed podcast, man. I'm your host, HBDs. I got with me.
Let's go, Patrick Goffney. I was here last time. It's a blessing to be here again. I'm excited to see what the Lord's going to do again today.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you came. I wanted to just sit down, man, and get to know Patrick as a person. Really be able to, for him to really just share his testimony. And we're gonna start there because I ain't gonna go into a whole deep spirit real quick, but we're gonna start there, man. I just want to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And you can go there, man. Wherever you want to start from the beginning, we're gonna go there.
Yeah, for sure. So, growing up, and I grew up in Oakdale, Louisiana. It was a small family, small house. Just grew up there for a few years. I loved it. Always seeing, my mom and my dad together. And me and my little brother, we were always used to that. And I remember, too, just, seeing them, having, the disagreements, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I remember, after a while that they ended up splitting. And that hurted me and my brother a little bit, and just because we were just so used to seeing them together. That just brought us so much comfort just seeing them together. But just growing up in Oakdale, I loved it. We moved to Tuskegee, Alabama for 1 year.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a whole different vibe, bro. It was a whole different vibe just being out there, but just for 1 year. And mind you, do I like it? Did I like it? Not really. Not really. It had its ups and downs, but mostly I love Oakdale way more than I liked it out there in Alabama. We did some fun things out there, but it was nothing like, just being where you were raised up and brought up to be. And, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness out in Oakdale. And, I was Jehovah's Witness because of my mom and on my mom's side.
Your upbringing.
Exactly. And so just being so used to that, we were always told, you don't want to be Christian, you don't want to be that, you don't want to be this, because, the Christians, they tell you the wrong thing. But I didn't know that, because I was
no better, you were young.
Exactly. And so just hearing that all the time, just made me not want to go to church, and just whenever I hear the word church at that time, it would make me cringe. I felt so uncomfortable.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, it's so uncomfortable because of how, Jehovah's Witnesses, what I've heard, how they disagree with Christians. They don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God. They don't believe, all that other stuff. And me and my brother, we started to believe that. But, after spending 1 year in Tuskegee, Alabama, we moved back here, in Louisiana. We moved back here with my dad. We spent some time with him for many, many years until we graduated high school. Being here and being there in kinder with him, he started introducing us to going to church. And there was this lady, who were very close with me and my brother, Miss Bertha, she always, kept us in her mouth, just bringing us all together, just bringing us, keeping us in the church family. Her and her family, they always connected me and my brother to be a part of their church family.
Okay, so that's how you got to the church. I got
exactly.
you.
And it was a beautiful thing, me being in the church for the first time. It was an uncomfortable feeling because it was totally different from
what you
know. Exactly. And so being a part of that, it was like, well, it's okay, but I'm still want to go back to what I'm used to, and being in the church building, for going so many years, I began to finally see the bigger picture of things, finally grasp the bigger picture of things.
So your heart was open to seeing the other side.
Exactly. And so, it made me feel like, living that Jehovah's Witness lifestyle, it was like I was living a lie, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, because whenever I converted to the Christian side, it was like my spiritual eyes opened way more bigger and brighter than it ever did before.
Yeah, so I got a question because I was talking to somebody earlier about like when the devil, it's like he leaves you in a state of confusion and like it's like a veil over your eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
So like that was your case. It was like a veil was removed from your eyes. Gotcha.
Yes, yes, bro. Yes, bro. It was like the Lord came in and he was like, you want some of this? I'm gonna give you some of this. You know what I mean? It was some of that. It was some of that. It was a lot of that going on in the church. And the church family was so good to me and my little brother. We wanted to keep going. We wanted to continue to keep growing. We wanted to continue to keep learning. We go on to Bible school every Wednesday, every Sunday. Any special events they had going on, we was in there. We was not missing no events because we wanted to learn. Especially at the time, my little brother, he was more into it than I was because I had a little bit of shyness going on, a little bit of low self-esteem going on at that time too because of things I was going through at school. Being picked on every now and then. So it did bring my confidence down.
Gotcha.
And I started having low self-esteem because of that. And, my brother, he was more confident than I was, which I don't know how that happened. But God blessed him with that much confidence. And I'm looking at him like, why can't I have that? Like, how is he so much? How is he so confident? How can he just go up there and not care about what people is going to say about him, what they're going to think about him, all that other stuff. And my brother, he's just so strong like that to where he could just go up to a crowd and pray in front of many people, in our church, and I just didn't have that type of confidence.
Gotcha.
And but thankful to the Lord, I'm starting to have that confidence, even right now, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In this podcast, even last podcast, you know what I mean? The Lord, he's giving me that confidence again,
To come out.
Exactly, to start stepping out in faith and not worrying about what other people is going to say.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they're going to say something regardless.
Yeah.
They talked about Jesus, They talked about him many times. They called him names. They accused him of doing many things that he didn't do, but he still handled his business the way he was supposed to.
Man, and to piggyback off what you're saying, man, I was telling somebody this earlier. I was like, I approach everything now like Satan got his people. God need his soldiers.
Yes.
So a lot of times, man, it's gonna be like we're gonna be uncomfortable. Like I had to learn that, man. Like I tell people time and time again, man, I'm not a big speaker. I'm not a person that likes to be in front of the camera, but I was like, if I don't do it, who gonna do it? And exactly. It's cool to see like the popular people, the people that, are major content creators. It's cool to see them. But we need to see people that we see on a regular basis doing this, like speaking, because how am I going to know you are a great man of God through you just typing the status? That's not going to make me, like, how many people you met, like, you read all these statuses and you assume who they was until you met them and you like, oh, he not like I thought he was, or she not like this. So how we going to see that real?
Bro, that's such a good question, and that's actually one of my I prayed that prayer on the way here, and that's one of my many prayers. I'll be like, Lord, I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to just live holy publicly, but in privately, I'm doing things that still offend you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's what what Jesus was saying too. 2,000 years ago, whenever he was talking to the prophets, to the Pharisees, about being a hypocrite.
Yeah.
You can't just be out here living a holy or acting like you're holy and but in privately, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. You're leading my people astray. But in all reality, you're doing what you want to do. Yes. Rather than doing what my father told you.
Yes, man. Because I was just recently like looking at somebody, man, that they had, and I'm not gonna say they don't anymore, but they had the fire for God. And you know, as people of God, man, we just be watching people. We follow people, so we watch their growth, whether it's good or bad. And man, I'm watching this person, and everything was God this and on fire for this and this, whatever. And then I see them do the total opposite, and I'm like, what you're doing at this particular moment, God does not approve of. So you don't know how many people you let down because they see you doing all these things and praying and saying how good God is and doing. I thought it turned off. You know, and doing all these things for God, and then you do the total opposite, and you hanging around people that God wouldn't approve of. You associating, and it's not as if you were there fellowshipping. You doing what they doing. So now, as somebody that's trying to find God, they looking like, oh, I can have it both ways. I can't. Long as I'm getting up, praising God and making prayers and glorifying God, I still can go partake of the world. And there's so many people like that, man. And now I understand why people be like, I might as well just do me. Like I might as well just have fun because you gonna do God for 6 months, but then you're gonna go right back to the club or to the parties or whatever it is you're doing. So why even? I'm not even gonna play with God.
I feel you. I feel you on that. And you know that's why us as Christians, because we are at a higher level, higher standard than most people. It's we have to be very careful of what we do, what we say, and how we do it around other folk, because there's a lot of people who aren't Christians. They try to treat us like we're not human.
Yeah,
but we're going to mess up.
Facts.
Of course, we're not perfect. Jesus is the only one that's perfect, but our mission is to try to be like him. We're not going to be perfect, but our mission is to be like him. And I say this too. Us as Christians, it's very important that we take our job seriously, because we don't know who is watching us behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
And really, Jesus, he brought so many people to himself alone because of his personality and his character. He was loving, he was gentle, he was kind. Many times at that time, there weren't many people that was loving. There weren't that many people that was encouraging, who was kind. But Jesus, he attracted so many people. He literally created a base of people to attract to him because of his character. Not him going to them, but because of them going to him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so because of his character, he attracted thousands. You know what I mean? The Bible says that him and his disciples couldn't really go anywhere because of how many people, a crowd, just surrounded them all day, you know what I mean? And it's because of not because of the miracles they were doing, but because of their characteristics they were doing too.
Yes.
And that was such a big personality fan base that's how Jesus set himself apart, him and his disciples, between this group and this group. Jesus is trying to set a clear example of how to live correctly versus following this side, Yes. And so, I remember, whenever I read the Gospels, I remember, Jesus and his disciples, they're sitting at the table at Matthew's house, who was he was a tax collector. And there were other people that were unclean. You have other corrupt tax collectors there, those who weren't holy, but they were sitting and having fellowship with Jesus, and Jesus didn't mind that because he attracted so many people because of his character. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the Pharisees didn't understand that. They didn't like that. They questioned they talked to his disciples. It was like, why does your teacher, why does he sit with tax collectors? Why is he sitting with them? And Jesus was like, the sick need a doctor, but those who are already healthy, they don't need a doctor.
Yeah.
And it's because the ones who needed Jesus, the ones who needed that loving character, that gentle character, not just because of the miracles, but because of, they see Jesus and they see that there's something different in him than most people. And that's what attracted them to Jesus more than anything. And that as us as Christians, that's how we supposed to live out our lives too. You know?
Man, yeah, and I think the issue is so many Christians still want to be like the world.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's not as if you're going to certain places and you fellowshipping. What ends up happening is you go into those places and you become those people. It's not like, man, I'm gonna go here and then I'm gonna be preaching, I'm gonna be feeding into them, I'm gonna be doing this. No, you end up going and partaking in conversations that you shouldn't even be partaking in. You become them. Now you go back and you all confused. Now when you try to go back to preach to them, they like, how dare you come speak to me about God when you was just doing the same things I'm doing? So now you looking at like, now you stuck now.
Exactly.
And that's why I be looking, I'm like, where are the real ones to actually come up and say, you know what, I'm going to stand on God's word, I'm going to speak it. Whatever God about, I'm about. I'm not going to deviate from it. I'm going to accept it. But so many times y'all live in fear because
Exactly, bro.
you scared of what these people going to think of you. And I'm like, if something happened to you and you got to stand for God, you got to stand by yourself. You got none of these people that can vouch for you. I don't care if they say how good you is, you're a people person, you gave. None of that. If you're not a man or woman of God, he's going to say, depart from me.
Exactly.
You know, and so many people don't understand. I'm like, if you could really open these people's heart and see, they don't really care about you like you say they do. Like, you couldn't depend on these people. Like, you trying to please these people that you can't depend on.
Bro, that's real, bro. That's real, bro. That's real. And just like you said, there's just a level of fear in man and not in God nowadays, you know.
Yes.
And
yes.
It happens so much too in the church because we're afraid to speak up. We're afraid to talk about certain subjects because we're fear of what people are going to say. What they're
going to lose their money.
Exactly. Exactly. Or lose their audience too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just when you have this, when you're so on fire for God like the apostles were, how Paul was, when you're so on fire for Jesus, you don't care about what people are going to say about you. You don't care about those things because the thing of the matter is the main mission is to make disciples. And that's the one command that Jesus commanded before he ascended into heaven, was to go out into all nations and preach my word.
Man, and you say that, man, something that God had dropped in my spirit like a couple of days ago. He was like, we live in a spirit of delusion. Like, people have become delusional because there are so many people that's living in the world, but every now and then they're going to drop that God in your spirit. They're going to give you they're going to give you a quote and say, God this and God that. So it has people thinking, like we were just saying, like, you can live this worldly life, but long as you drop a few nuggets about God, you good. So it makes the sinner that's out there sinning feel like, I can't have it both ways. Long as I believe in God, I don't have to show it in my actions. I can just say I believe it. I'm good. A lot of people like that, man. I'm like, why are y'all so delusional to think that you can just, whatever comes out your, like, God, I believe that you're real. God, I believe that you died on the cross, but nothing about your life says that.
Exactly. And you know, especially in this culture, in this American culture, we have so many people that has well, God knows my heart. I'm gonna go ahead.
Yes.
Well, God knows my heart. You know, He gonna forgive me. But the thing is, and that's what I was just saying, there's no fear in God. Not necessarily being afraid of Him, but just being in awe of Him. You know, I was reading this Bible study book, and it was just talking about, you know, the fear of the Lord, and just giving you an example, you know, of being in total awe of Him, you know. And one thing it said that really touched me was when you travel so many miles to the Grand Canyon and you're taking so many pictures, you're in awe because it's beautiful. But at the same time, that beauty can also harm you too. You know what I mean? And so for so many of us that have a, you know, well, God knows my heart. Yeah, He knows your heart, but the Bible says that your heart is wicked. You know, you know, of course the Lord knows your heart, but He knows your heart is wicked. He knows that your heart isn't in the right intentions.
Yes.
So when you have this devilish mindset of I'm gonna do whatever I want to do because the Lord he can forgive me for that ahead of time. Of course, He can forgive you for that ahead of time, but there isn't a repentance mindset.
Yes.
Because we have I'm gonna just apologize for this, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and do whatever I want to do again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so just real repentance isn't just an apology. Because just say, for example, just say, God forbid this, but say you're in an abusive relationship and your wife is abusing you. She's saying, or just not physically, but verbally. And she says, I'm sorry. You're not just going to want an apology, but you're going to want her to turn away from.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And that's the exact same thing what repentance is. It's not just confessing your sin. It's not just saying, Lord, I'm sorry for this. But it's running away from that sin. It's running away from that lust. It's running away from that pornography. It's running away from that masturbation.
Yeah.
It's running away from the things which Satan wants you to go back to.
And that's And I love that you said that, man, because there's so many people. It's like I often say this, like, how you gonna play God?
Exactly.
Like y'all really like, and I think about when I was in the world and doing this, I'm like, we really tried to play the Almighty.
Man,
like,
bro.
Man, I'm gonna go do this, but I'm gonna get on my knees and ask God for forgiveness, and it's like in your mind you thinking like it really gonna work that way, and it's so many people that think that we like, man, I'm gonna do what I want. But I know God is a forgiving God, because that's like they like to harp on that. He's a forgiving God, and
also just too.
Yeah,
He's also just too.
yes, man. I was watching this thing, and this guy was talking about that, man. That guy that gave him a vision about, like, he was standing in the judgment line, and he was like, man, it was like so many people, and he was like, man, I'm just looking at the people like God just sending them to hell. Like, you had your chance, you gone. You had your chance, you gone, and that's what I be understand people like God is all those things, loving, compassion, understanding. He gets us, but he also saying, like, my word is my word. Like, it's not bending. Y'all got this one shot, this one chance in this life to get it right. You can't play me. You can't manipulate me. Y'all, some of us be thinking we so good because we manipulate people, or we think we do, that we can do it to God, and it's not happening.
It's really not happening, because the thing is, he knew the ending because before he created the beginning, bro. Because he already know all this.
He already know.
But the thing is, we are his children, so he finds so many graceful ways to forgive us because he already knows. Of course, we're going to do it, but at the end of the day, there is a consequence to every decision we make.
Yes.
So if I say, I'm going to go ahead, I know it's wrong, but if I say I'm going to go ahead and do it, but if I know it's wrong, there's a consequence to that.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's just, I don't know why the Lord is just talking to me about being, just being in awe of him, because we have a clear mindset of God as our Father.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's all you have of him, you're going to forget that he's your Lord too. And if you have this mindset of he's just your Lord, you're going to forget that he's your Father.
Yes.
So you can't forget one or the other, but you have to come back them into the same.
Yeah, because Hollywood and just people in general has created God into this sympathetic figure, and Satan is the big bad guy that you should fear. So most people look at it that way, like, man, God is soft, and I'm like, you really think that? Like, you really think?
You knew.
If only, like, I'm like, what words you reading? What you not understanding that God is the one you should want to fear?
Man.
But we've been so programmed, man, and I think about the tons of movies we didn't seen there where there's Satan and the devil in it, and it's like Satan is the big bad guy that's causing all the destruction, and of course that's what he do. But it's like God is the weak figure to the end. Like God is getting pummeled and beat up, and then in the end, it's like a superhero movie. It's like at the end, the superhero has been getting beat up all movie, and then he come at the end and he saved the day. That's kind of how they like to portray God, and for a lot of people, that's the way they see God.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
That sympathetic figure that just comes in the end and saves the day. And I'm like, y'all have no idea.
Bro, yeah, that's real, bro. That's so real, bro. And this makes me remember that how so many people, they view the devil as, as God, but the complete opposite.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Combine them as equal, and he's really not equal. he's not the opposite of God. He's not God, period.
Yes.
He's a creature, but he doesn't have power unless you give it to him. He can't necessarily do things just right off the bat. He can't just attack you. He has to have permission to do it. He can't just say, okay, I'm gonna attack you. I'm gonna attack you tonight. And I'm gonna do it however I want to do it. He can't do it.
He can't do it that way.
You remember Job, in the book of Job, when in the beginning, when all the angels presented themselves before the Lord, and the Bible says that the devil was there too, and God was like, "Where have you come from?" And Satan was like, "For being in and all over the earth and just everywhere on it." And he was like, "Have you considered my servant Job? For there is no one else like him." And he was like, "Well, that's only because you have your hand on him. If you take off your protection of him, I guarantee he's gonna curse you to your face." And the Lord was like, "Well, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it, but you will not kill him." And so there's a boundary set between that. He's allowing him to do it.
Yes.
But he's also telling him that there's a limit to how you're going to torment him too. Yeah. So the thing is with that, the devil doesn't have all power. We like to say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That's giving the devil information.
That power.
Exactly.
Man, you speaking.
Yeah, it's giving him that because he doesn't know unless you say it, which is why there's power and there's life in the tongue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we have the power to speak life into ourselves. We also have the power to speak death into ourselves too, which is why we have to be careful what we say and how we say it, especially with cursing other people, because that's also powerful too. If you don't know what you're doing, you can literally curse somebody.
Yes.
Because there's power in the tongue. And so what the devil will do is he'll because he's not like God. He can't be everywhere all at the same time. So what he'll do is he'll send one of his minions to assign you to create this plague of torment in that certain situation that you just said you have problems in, because the thing is, he doesn't necessarily have that power or that authority to torment you. But the thing is too, that the Lord, we like to say, the devil is on my back. He's doing this to me. He's doing that to me. But not everything is the devil either.
True.
And so with that is, the Lord, he'll allow us to go through some trials, some tribulations, either to test our faith, to test our faith, or to see how we're going to go about this situation. Because the thing is, he is a father and he is a Lord. And he sees a certain situation that we can get better at.
That's true. That's true. And that's why I tell people so many times, man, it's like, what you be thinking is something that's not major in the physical. It's major in the spiritual.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be, like you said, it could be a sexual addiction. It could be a spirit of you gotta please people. And I want to touch it like on the sexual a little bit, because man, I've seen so many people be held bondage by sexual demons, like a sexual addiction. And it's like everybody else could see it but them. And I'm like, you've been stuck in the same spot for like 5 years now. Like the same lifestyle, the same situation. Like you've never grown. You might have switched a job or you might have did that, but you always go back to that. And it's like they're stuck and they can't see anything else but that.
Can't break free.
They can't break free. And I think, and I'm saying that because, man, so many people take sexual, like, if you say sexual addiction, they think it's a joke. They don't think it's that deep as it is. But when you can never, like, your flesh could never be pleased, you always looking for this one, to this one, to this one. And I see it every day, man. So many people make jokes about sex, and I'm like, y'all have no idea how deep this goes.
It's powerful, bro.
You know, like, people are really battling. Like, I tell them all the time, like, you can see, like, some of these celebrities, like, man, have the most beautiful wife, and that wife is still, like, it's not enough for them. They need the 2 to 3 women. They need to go out all the time. They need to go to the strip club to feed that demon that's with them. And I'm like, that's how you know how powerful it is.
It really is, bro. Because the thing that there's levels in the spirit, and so the more you feed that spirit, the stronger it's going to be. Because the more you fight that temptation, the stronger the temptation is going to be. Which is why, you know, the Bible also says that you shouldn't fight it, but you should run from it. And the more you fight it, the more you're going to be stuck in that same spot because you're not running from it. The more you run, the more free you're going to be. And the thing is, you don't necessarily feel bondage. You don't necessarily feel like you're chained up in that sin until you try to break free from it. You know what I mean? The moment you try to stop the pornography, the moment you try to stop the masturbation, the lustful thoughts, the lustful thinking towards other men, towards other women, the moment you try to stop these things, that's when that temptation is going to hit you so strong, it's not even funny.
Yes, and I'm like, we make light, like, not we, people make light of it, and I'm like, y'all not understanding the pattern. Like, you have a man, like women, then all of a sudden, it's men and women. And I'm like, y'all don't see the addiction. It's like women no longer satisfy them. They have to go get a man.
Yeah.
And we make so many jokes. And it's been, like I said, I go back to programming. It's been programming us, some of us, since we was 8, 9, 10 years old. Like, you don't like girls. You want to talk to girls. You this, you that. And you a virgin, like they'll clown you because you're a virgin. So then at some point you feel like I have to go do it because I don't want them clowning me, and not realizing what you letting in. And before you know it, you stuck. And because me and my cousin was having this conversation, and I'm like, how does that make sense to pay for sex? Like, when you have sex, when you're supposed to have sex with your wife, you have a connection. You find her beautiful. She find you amazing, and y'all have that connection to do it. But for me to lay with somebody that would look at me and say, on a normal day, I wouldn't give you the time of day. But because you got money, I'm going to sleep with you. I'm like, I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't lay with somebody that I know can't stand me.
I couldn't.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It really is. And that's what lust will do you.
That's what lust will do.
Because lust don't care. The spirit of lust does not care. Because what the thing is, the spirit of lust wants to satisfy itself. You know, when you can't take over your flesh, when you don't have power over your flesh will have power over you.
Yes.
You know, and that's why it's such a spiritual thing. Because, you know, our spirit man isn't strong enough because we don't have a strong enough relationship with the Lord. So we're leaning on our flesh, we're leaning on other men rather than leaning on him who could break us free from that. And the moment, you know, we try to fight it ourselves, because you see, we can't fight it ourselves. We're always going to need community, godly community. We're always going to need him to help us with these things. In the moment, in the one thing that can also help you free from that is confessing it not only to the Lord, but to someone you trust.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. Like, so many people hide from it. Like, man, I'm good. Because I feel like it's not talked about enough. Like, if you really sit down with people and break it down, it's like something that you can't go without. It's an addiction. You know, like when I'm gonna call him B Doctor. I ain't gonna call him by his government name. But when B Doctor was sitting here, man, and we was having that conversation, and he proposed the question, it's like, you know, go back to, what if you married and y'all can't have sex for 3 months? What you gonna do? Most men they gonna
Man, out of
they out of there. Like you said, they out of there, and it's like that's when you know it's an addiction when you can't go without it. Like
Exactly.
if you really had to, and I'm looking and I say, Satan, you so slick that you got them thinking like it's not a problem. It's not an addiction. That ain't nothing. And so many people, man, they fall victim to it, and I'm like, it's not talked about enough. It's not looked at. It's not looked at like drugs or cigarettes or alcohol.
Exactly.
And I'm like, sex is one of the number one things. People will have $300 million and destroy their whole business behind sex.
It's crazy, bro. You know, and the enemy has perverted sex in such a level that it is at an all-time high, bro.
It is, yes.
There's no one is ashamed of what they're doing. You have people, you know, pornography going on right now as we speak.
Yeah.
You know, you have homosexuality at an all-time high right now. Like people aren't ashamed
Of anything.
Exactly. Not even ashamed to showcase it, even on commercials, you know, movies, TV
Yes.
shows, even on cartoons that our little children is watching. It's starting to come up on that too.
Yeah.
And, you know, the enemy has perverted it because he knows that sex is such a power. It's so
Powerful, yes.
Because God Himself created it. He meant that to feel good. Because the thing is, the enemy and spirits, demons, they don't have the power to create. They don't have the power to procreate. But we do, which is why the enemy hates us so much, because we have more
man, I'm glad
benefits.
you
We
said
have
that.
so much more power than the enemy does. So what he'll do is he'll pervert it into think that it's unclean, you know. But the reality of the matter is that sex itself is clean, but we have this mentality to know that sex itself is unclean because of what's going on.
Wow.
Pornography, lust, homosexuality, and I believe, you know, there's so many people so green because just like what you said, there's not enough people that's speaking up about it, especially pastors and spiritual leaders. We need more pastors. We need more leaders to speak about how to overcome pornography, how to fight the lust, how to overcome this. You know, there's not enough of that.
But you know, it goes back to, and I'm glad that you said it, man. I love what you just said too. But then it goes back to that fear. I don't think like enough pastors put the fear of God, and it's not just pastors, man. I'm not gonna put everything on them, but they have a lot of responsibility. I think, man, it's so many people that's in the church that go to church on Sundays, that know the word, that can drop the word, that's dropping the ball because they don't want to. And I say this, man, technology is such a beautiful thing. You don't need a whole setup to drop an amazing word. You can pick your phone up, sitting in your car, and say, man, God dropped this in my spirit, and I need to get this out to people to have them thinking. But there's so many Christians that know the word, bro, that they lazy.
Exactly, bro.
It's like we letting the devil win by not getting out and using some of the tools that God gave us. You know this, man. You on social media, you scroll.
Yes.
You see a bunch of people posting ungodly things.
Yes.
But how many godly things do you see? We're gonna see some,
Yes,
but then you click on their profile and you say the love of the Father ain't in them. You know it, and I do it too. Like when somebody says something about God, it catches my attention. I was like, all right, let me click on their profile and go see. Scroll a little bit. Oh, they look at me. I'm off of it. They was turned up 2 days ago. So they'll put God in it. Three good sentences, and then at the end they cursing, and I'm like, where have we gotten so comfortable? God and cursing in the same. But then I look and I see it's gotten so off because we go back to the pornography and people doing the things they do. Like, y'all half naked and y'all mamas, y'all mamas, y'all aunts, y'all uncles are y'all followers on Facebook, and y'all don't even care about being half naked no more. It's like the respect is gone.
It really is, bro. And that's how lukewarm Christians come into play. Because just like what we keep saying, there's no fear in the Lord. You know, we have this mindset, especially with this American culture, to where I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a free country. Yes, you can do whatever you want to do. Yes, God has given us free will, but there's also consequences to every decision we make. There's good consequences, and there's also bad consequences. But there's a consequence to each decision we make. And so us as Christians, we have to be careful with what we do because we can lead God's people astray.
Yes.
You know, and because it's so powerful how, you know, lukewarm Christians can misuse God without knowing it, you know, because they may believe in God, which is why they put those few sentences, but there's another half of them that wants to do whatever they want to do, and you just can't do that.
You can't, man.
You can't.
And I just had wanted to say something because we was talking about this. Oh, I can't remember. I wanted to tell you. It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me eventually. But yeah, man. That's how I see it now. It's like when the fear was gone, when people stopped standing up, because man, you know, to in a sense be a content creator, which I don't necessarily call myself that, but I'm in that realm. I just view myself as a person that love God and want to. Somebody got to put God's word out that you can see on a daily basis, man. But to see so many people when I go to church, it's like if I didn't see you in church, I wouldn't even know that you're a woman or man of God because nothing outside of church says that. So how would you know that there is a man of God if I don't say it, if I don't show it? But how are you going to show it? There's so many people that love God that's not standing on it. There's so many people that can speak amazing words. Because I tell them this all the time, I'm like, the pastor can only do so much. He's one person. So y'all be expecting him to, not necessarily mama, not you, just speaking in general.
Yeah.
But people be expecting why the pastor ain't speaking about the war, or why he ain't speaking about, all the homosexual stuff, everything. And I'm like, he got your attention for 1 hour, maybe an hour and 30 minutes on a Sunday, and y'all want him to fit all that in. Mm-hmm. And when they not doing it, something wrong with them. Or they want to lead a church, or they want to switch churches. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what are you going to do? Yeah. If you know this word, if you know what's going on with the war, why you ain't speaking? You ain't speaking because you don't want to be held to that standard. Cooking. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so many of them, man, that y'all going to speak it behind closed doors, but y'all don't want to be held to that standard of being placed there and being responsible. Yeah. But everybody that got a platform that crave following, you have a responsibility.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly, bro. I'm so glad you talk about it. This is how I know the Lord wants us to talk about this one subject right now. And it's so powerful the way you just said that. And that I've been thinking that same thing for weeks.
Really?
Maybe a few months now. Yes. Because the thing is, yes, the pastor has the power to give you the word. But us as Christians, especially church folk, we forget that we are the church too. Didn't the Lord say what was in my son was in all of you too?
Yes.
You have the power.
You have the power.
You have the power to go get it. You have the power to speak the word. You have the power to pursue the faith. Don't just lean on your shepherd. And whenever I call my shepherd home, now you don't know what to do.
Yes.
So the thing is, us as church folk, we have to have this mindset of, yes, my pastor's giving me the word, but the question is, am I putting the word into faith? Yes. Or am I just going back home and Netflix and chill?
That's it. That's what a lot of them doing, man. They leaving church, going eat, going to work, carry on that day, and I'm like, it's more to it than that. Yes. Like, how would I actually know if I didn't see a lot of these people in church? Yes. If I didn't see you physically in church, how would I know you a great man or woman of God?
Yes, bro.
Like, and I tell people, Satan has his people. When we wake up in the morning, we thank the Lord and the Lord, and we just get up doing our day, man, and we picking up our phone. You know, some of the stuff that we see that we be clicking and be like, I don't want to see this. I want to see more of this. I don't want that. We know what Satan doing to us. So where are God? I say this time and time again. Where God's soldiers at? God need his people, man. We are in a spiritual war. Just because you don't see the physical battle, we are in a spiritual war.
Oh, bro,
And you know how amazing it would be for us to see people that we see on this video, like, man, I know they dropping a video today.
Yeah.
You know, just to put it in your spirit that they said something, you be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go check this out. I'm going to dig deeper into this.
Yes.
But we don't. You know, so many, they put so much energy. Like, I see people daily, like, it's like they put so much energy into everything that's perverted. And I'm like, just imagine if y'all put that energy to praising God. Man, I even see people like have people questioning, is God real? And I'm like, there's a bunch, and I always go back. I say, man, there's a bunch of people that know God real, that can say their testimony, that can get up and say, man, I know God real. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that got amazing testimonies that they don't want to share their testimony because they don't want to be judged. You read about being judged by somebody that ain't living no kind of way. Yeah. Like I tell people, man, your social status ain't gonna get you in heaven. Your money ain't gonna get you in heaven. God don't care if you got a 4,000 square foot house, 3-4 cars, tons of money in the bank. Like, that's not gonna get you in heaven. So you read about pleasing somebody that, as of right now, they ain't seeing them pearly gates.
Yeah, no, bro. One thing that stuck out to me, I remember I was watching one of Philip Mitchell Anthony.
Man, that man, yeah,
I love him, bro. He's deep, bro. And he's not afraid to give it to you either.
The only thing I'm gonna say about Philip Mitchell, man, and somebody else said it, like, when God, man, don't apologize. You know, I seen a couple times where he'll say something and then he'll go apart, like, stand on it. Like, you got so many people that got your back, man. Like, stand on that word. Don't apologize. If you know God, like I seen when he said about like the police thing, I felt where he was coming from. Man, there's been times where I've been racially profiled and, you know, certain things, but I knew to play my role. Like, I knew I'm not going to be antagonizing. If they ask for my insurance, I'm going to give them my insurance. I'm going to give them, you know, whatever they need.
You going to ask questions and give them a whole
like,
because this going to make them suspect.
Yeah, there's been times where I didn't give no attitude and they kind of gave me attitude, but when they seen I was calm and respected, they brought it down. Like, oh, it's not going to be that type of thing.
Exactly.
And we see so many of them, man, like, you give these police a hard time sometimes. Yeah. I'm not saying that there's not bad apples, because there are. Yeah. That's with anything, though. You know, but, man, just give them what they asked for, and you're going to go on your way with no issue. So that situation, man, when he apologized, I'm like, man, stand. Like, God gave you that word for a reason. Oh, yeah. Stand on your word, because the minute they feel like if they put that pressure on you, you're going to fold and apologize, oh, they going to get you every time.
Oh, yeah.
But he is amazing, though, man. I'll be checking into him.
I love him, bro. One thing I was going to say, one question that he asked the people that was in there and also, you know, those who were watching, he was like, what do you want to be caught doing when the Lord comes back?
Ooh.
And that question stuck out to me.
Hey, that's a good question, man.
It really is.
That's a good question. You got me thinking for a second, man. I think for me, man, I want to just be doing this work. Exactly. Like, doing something that I know he called me to do and I should be doing. Because, man, and to piggyback off what you're saying, I heard a pastor say this. He said, so many people, just because you, matter of fact, this is how he said it, just because you're good at something, that doesn't mean that's what God called you to do. Mm-hmm. And when he said it, man, it really made me think, like, there's so many people, because I thought about this, man, that was like 2 or 3 years ago, man, this guy, young guy, he retired from the NFL. It's like God called me to go into ministry. He retired from the NFL. He was like 25 years old, 24, 25 years old. And it brought me back to when he retired, and it's like, God, he might have been great at football, but God called him for something else. So how many people that's sitting here right now, you great at something, but you know God called you to do something else, but you don't want to give it up because I'm making this money, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I feel like I'm getting a fulfillment, but the whole time God calling you for something else, man. But to get back to your original question, I kind of went off a little bit, was, man, I want to just be doing God work, man. Like, I want to be doing something.
And that's an answer that I gave him too when I prayed about it. I was like, Lord, when you come back, I want you to catch me making disciples.
Yes.
I want you to catch me spreading that word. You know, because the thing is, we're at a time to where he could come back at any moment. we not expected at all. The next minute, the next hour, the next day, whatever. He's at a time to come back right now.
Yes.
But the question is, are we ready?
Are we ready? I be thinking about it all the time. Like, man, God could come back anytime, but He know there's so many people that's not ready.
Yeah, man.
And I feel like God just holding off because He keep trying to, like, I'm giving y'all a chance out there. He patient.
He's so patient, bro. It's
He
not even
patient.
funny, bro. He has patience beyond measure, beyond your understanding, bro. He could wait the next 1,000 years if he want to.
If He won't, yeah. Cause man, I ain't gonna lie, like I be looking at stuff, man, and the older I get, I'm like, it's not gonna get better, man. I remember when I was younger, I would always think, I was like, man, at some point we gonna wake up and we gonna realize that it's time for a change. Cause they always be making them songs about change and coming up and doing stuff different. Look at me, I always would hold hope. Like, man, we gonna change. We gonna wake up. A bunch of us gonna wake up and we gonna realize God is the only way and we supposed to be doing it this way, man. But the longer I stay on this earth, I realize it's only gonna get worse.
It really is, bro. Because when you read Revelations, bro, which is a scary book,
it's scary.
it's deep.
It's deep.
I still got to do some more study on that because there's so many messages in that. You can't just
read it one time.
Exactly. You got to meditate on that thing. But when you read Revelations and how everything is going to play out, the exact prophecy is being fulfilled right before our very eyes, bro.
I never thought I would see it, though.
It's scary, bro. It gives me chills, but it gives me a reassurance, too, that God is in control of it all. Even though we see all these wars, rumors of wars going on, we see so many people killing each other. The Lord, He did say these things have to happen before Him to come back. You know what I mean? So it's going to get worse from here. But the thing is, you have nothing to worry about as a Christian. If you know and you have faith that your name is written in the Lamb's book of life, there is no reason to fear death. There's no reason to fear this life at all anyway.
Yeah, and that's how I be, man. And man, I ain't gonna lie. Like early on in my walk, I would always tell him, I say, man, I'm ready for God to come back because I'm ready. Like I would always be thinking that, man. And I'm like, that's how I feel now. It's like, God, whenever it's up, I just want to be ready. I just want to, and that's why, like, I be trying to approach every day now. It's like, as soon as I wake up in the morning, God, just forgive me for whatever I did. Like, I'm constantly apologizing. Yeah. I may not know what I did, but God, whatever I did, open my eyes to it, and God, forgive me.
That's maturity, bro.
Because
the thing is, repentance, it isn't just saying I repent whenever I did wrong, but it's a lifestyle. It's repenting the moment you wake up. It's repentance the moment you go to sleep. It's constantly repentance because the thing is, you don't know what sin you might have made throughout the day. You might have known that sin that you made because might have been on purpose.
Yeah, but the one.
but for a sin that you don't know, repentance has to be an everyday thing. It has to be a lifestyle, bro.
Because, man, another thing I was thinking, man, and you hit the nail on the head. I was like, how y'all don't have the spirit of conviction? Like, bro, I honestly be looking like I can't do nobody wrong. I can't do anything wrong because I feel it in my soul. Like, I be like, how could y'all sit here? It could be as simple as I come borrow some money from you. Now, I know when I'm borrowing this money from you, and you knew before you borrowed that money, I borrowed that money from you, I wasn't paying you back. Yeah. So why even ask and why even do? Like, y'all don't have this spirit. Like, if I borrow some money from you, it's on my mind 24/7. Like, I got to pay you back. Like, before I do anything, when my check come, I'm giving you your money back. I don't care if I got bills to pay, because I asked you for it. It's that conviction, and people could be like, for me, it's simple stuff like that. Like, I be convicted, like anything. Like, man, even when I was in the world, I knew God was tugging on me because, man, I was doing stuff, and then I'm on my knees praying and asking God because I've always felt that spirit of conviction for my wrongs. Mm-hmm. You got so many people that walking now, it's like they don't have conviction about anything.
Nothing, bro. Especially, with my generation. Too.
Oh, y'all.
There's no conviction at all because we're so young. We still want to have fun. We want to live that fun lifestyle that everybody's talking about. We want to go to Las Vegas. We want to meet the celebrities. We want to go out there and party. We want to go to the clubs. We know we want to have fun, but
Yeah.
you have that immaturity, you know, mindset, and you have also a maturity mindset of Christians who are tired of living their lifestyle. You know, young people like me who are tired of living their lifestyle, so they want to come over and convert to the truth, and they want to live the Christian lifestyle because they found out that this lifestyle isn't beneficial.
It's not. Yeah.
This lifestyle is only going to keep me in bondage. But if I come over to the truth, I'm going to be set free.
Yes.
You know?
And that's why, like, man, I'm hoping and I'm praying that so many younger people decide, like, man, you know what? I might not want to be a podcaster full time, but maybe once a week I would get up and I would speak. I would do certain things because the world has told us that you gotta wait till you're older. You can wait. You can go live your life. Go do whatever you want. You can go to God later. And there's so many people that's dying young that don't get to later. They don't get to be my age. They don't get to experience how good God is because the world has told them to live their life and party and drink, and they don't get to see past 25.
No, that's scary, bro.
Man, the world.
Especially, you know, we have in my generation. There's so much hatred. There's so much anger towards one another that it's not even funny. You know, and it's very scary to see, and it's very scary to witness. You know, and to be a part of it, because you have, you know, so many young people who aren't afraid. It's a good thing to not be afraid to speak up, but you also have to, you know, watch what you say too, because, you know, we're used to, you know, young people would be afraid to you know, watch what they say in front of elders. But now it's starting to switch.
Yeah, they don't.
Elders have to start watching what they say to the young people because there's so many young people who have so much anger, so much built up rage, frustration, and so if they don't know how to control that anger, their frustration, they could go end up hurting someone.
Yes.
You know, and
yes.
you know that's one of the things that Jesus prophesied too. He said there will become a time where parents will be against their kids and kids will be against their parents. You know, that there's no longer going to be a respect boundary.
Man, yes.
And we're living in that time right now.
I see it so many times, man. I'm like, you know, I tell everybody this, man, like, everybody's going to go through that period with their parents where you feel like you're grown. Yeah. But it was never a point to where I see some of these kids cursing their parents out and I mean, just being just straight up disrespectful, right? And I'm glad that we on this subject. And I thought about something. I say, Satan is so slick and cunning of the things he do. What we have done we in a social media age where somebody can get on there and they talking crazy and they get a whole bunch of followers and then they end up making more money than their parents. So why do I have to respect you if I'm making more money than you? Satan he's slick with it. Yeah. So now I can create this internet store that's making $100,000, $10,000 a month. They making way more money than their parents. So the minute their parent try to be a parent, how dare you? Yeah. I'm making more money than you. I can take care of you. I'm the boss now. So now it's looking like I don't need to respect you at all because I was only respecting you because you was taking care of me. And now I don't need you now. I'm good. So now it's like I'm like I say, cause man, I be thinking deep. I say, I see what you done. It's so easy for these kids to become these stars, man. Like you could be a star overnight, and what you need your parent for if you making tons of money. Yeah, respect is gone.
It really is gone. But that's how we learned the hard way too.
Yeah.
You know, the moment you start feeling like you don't need your spouse, you don't need your siblings, you don't need your parents, you don't need the people who was right there in your corner before you went big. You know, the moment you start feeling that and you start making, you know, okay, so you start making these big decisions on your own, but where did that get you? Of course, yeah, you making all this money, but you're making so much money like this for the first time. Do you know what to even do with it?
Yeah.
And so we get so big headed, and you know there's a lack of respect towards that because we start feeling like, okay, I'm getting big now. I'm getting
Yeah.
I'm getting that yeah now. So now I can start doing whatever I want to do. So the moment I step out the house and I start making all these wrong decisions, now I find myself back in where I started.
Yeah.
And so there has to be a level of staying humble in times of you being successful.
It's not, man. It's not. And for a lot of people, it's more so now. I either gotta choose two things: to try to be a parent and not be in my child life, or be in their life and just be like the best friend. Man, I've seen so many people on social media like they just they child best friend, and they go along with all kind of stuff. And I'm like, God, I say, God, it couldn't have been me. Like it can be me. Like especially when you raise your child a certain way, right? Because I see it time and time again, and I know people gonna feel the way they feel. It's like for instance, we glorify baby showers. Like, what you getting a baby shower for doing everything I told you not to do? You 16 years old, you having this big old glamorous baby shower for what?
Yeah.
You did everything I told you not to do.
Like
And it was said, yeah, and like, and as parents, we know, like, you 16 years old, you getting pregnant by this guy, he's not gonna be with you for the long haul. Like, by the time y'all not gonna get, in our mind, oh, they gonna get married at some point and live this good life. No, he's not gonna want to be with you. And you're gonna be on social media crying and going through all this, and as a parent, you gotta feel it. So that's why I be looking, I'm like, man, y'all glorify these big old baby showers and doing all these things, and it's like, where is the accountability?
There is none.
Parents have went from, I got to make sure my children don't make the same mistakes I made, to y'all just go with the flow because the world doing it. Mm-hmm. And that's where the disconnect is. It's like I see it time and time again. I'm like, I remember when you was in school crying behind this bar because you was pregnant. 16 years later, your daughter going through the same thing. It's like a generational thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you mean to tell me you didn't fight like hell to make sure that your daughter didn't go through this? You know that hurt. You know the struggle. You know begging and pleading with him to be with you, and he like, I'm good. I just is not where I want to be, man. And I've seen it so many times. I'm like, God, my heart is already fixed. I say, man, I'm gonna feed into my girls. I'm not saying they never gonna make mistakes, but I say, God, I'm not gonna be that parent that, oh, they made a mistake and I'm okay with it. No, I'm gonna love them, but you're going to learn from that mistake. Because I see so many, like, man, I'm gonna just say it. I see so many parents end up, they raise their child, now they raising the grandkid. And I'm like, what kind of life is that? You're supposed to enjoy your grandkids more so feeling like your grandkids have become a burden in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, man, I got 2 kids, but I make sure like my daughters is not like a burden on my parents.
Yeah, man.
Like if they come over here, it's a whole totally different situation.
Yeah, man.
You feel me? But so many times, man, it's different now, bro. Like it's.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course it is, man. And that's how we set. That's how we set our kids up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, we making this wrong decision, but we're rewarding them. That's going to make them feel like it's okay to do that. Because just like you said, there's no accountability.
Yes.
There's no you wrong for doing that. Then I tell you not to do that, you wrong for that. But there's none of that because that's our kid. We don't want to make them feel guilt. We don't want them to feel shameful. We don't want to hurt them. But there's a certain way you can go about that
about doing it,
hurting them without making them feel guilt. You just have to learn how to talk to your kids.
Yes,
you have to learn to be in their life properly, so that way in times of struggle, your kid can have the confidence to come up to you before they make that huge wrongful decision, for them to talk about it with you, so that you can rightly and confidently confirm it. Say this is the wrong way.
This is the wrong way because look how many times we didn't see pregnant at 16.
Yeah.
That didn't work out.
Yeah.
By the time she 19, 20, she pregnant again. And it's because you just make them feel comfortable like, oh, my mom or dad, they gonna watch them. They gonna watch my kids when I go to work. And then sometimes these girls have 2 kids by the time they 21, and then they decide, I want to enjoy my life. Like, I didn't get to have a life, and it's like, this is what you chose. Now the grandparents are stuck raising these kids, man. It be blowing my mind sometimes when I be looking and I'm like,
That's how we put so much stress on the grandparents.
man, it's like these grandparents be thinking they gonna at some point they gonna just live their life and just have fun because they raised their kids. Now they at 55, 60 years old doing it all over again, and I'm like, man, I like, bro, I'm 40 and I'm tired. So I couldn't imagine me being 60 starting all over. Oh no. But society is the way that it is, man, and it's crazy. And you got them shows, man, 16 and pregnant, and these shows, they don't show the real side to this. Like, y'all be making some of these teen moms like celebrities. And I'm like, bro, this world backwards.
Bro, it is backwards. It is backwards, bro. I don't think it's gonna get no better than
It's not gonna get.
It's really not.
It's not.
It's really not. And,
It's not, bro.
You know,
It's
it makes
not.
me feel, for the grandparents a little more because of how they raised their original kids. So for them, their kid, to let their kid, be led astray without them holding their kid accountable, that can make the grandparent also look bad towards, their kids too, because it's like, I know I raised you right. I know I raised you. I know I gave you a good example of how we're supposed to raise kids. So why did you raise your kid that way?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And it's a struggle, man. It's a struggle, man. But I realize I'm looking at the time. Boy, we could talk. We can go, man. We're gonna have to do this again. I'm gonna cut it short here, but we're gonna do this again because there's so much I want to talk to you about. But man, we gonna sign off. I'm definitely I gotta get Patrick back, man. We probably gonna have to do a couple of episodes, man, because I just like the conversation, man, and I love the way when God bring people in my life, man, and we gonna enhance it, we gonna grow it. But I'm gonna sign off, man. This is the HB Podcast. I'm your host, HB Deezy. We out. Peace.